Okay guys, as you can see from the title of this video, I have moved to New York recently. I've been here about 3 weeks now. So yeah, the last video I made was kind of like a fairly ambivalent video. I was back in Ireland and I was like, yeah, I'm just deciding about what I'm going to do next. But really, I knew all along that I was coming to New York. My plan had been set for months, I just hadn't talked about it. And that was really hard for me because normally when it comes to traveling plans, I talk about it all the time. But you know, the last big thing that didn't go to plan was my whole India story. I made a video on that about why I didn't end up going to India and how I ended up going to Melbourne instead. But here I am, I've moved to New York and I'm not going anywhere for a long time. I've moved here, I'm living here, I have a gorgeous apartment and I have a new job here and I absolutely love it. I will talk about that more later on in the video. And I moved to Australia for a year and I did not plan on being in Australia for a year. I planned on going for the winter, so there summer. It was all a crazy year in terms of figuring out where I was gonna go and what I was gonna do with my life and what I wanted to do. But basically it had been my plan since arriving in Melbourne around about April that I was going to move to America in September, October time of this year. The backstory is there's this visa between Ireland and the USA that lets you come over to America within a year of graduating from your university course, and you can come over here and get a job in whatever your area of study was. And you know, you don't have to have anything set up before you come over. You can come over and find something. So that was my plan, to go on that visa. I graduated in November 2016, so I was, I had time to save up for it in Melbourne and I was gonna come over in October. Now the reason I didn't say anything about it was because a few of my best friends were in New York, were in New York at the time. They had also taken that visa, they'd gone on that visa and they'd already come over, and I wanted to surprise them. So yeah, I have tons of friends here from college and I wanted to surprise 2 or 3 of them, and that's why I didn't talk about it. And also I didn't talk about it because, what if something went wrong and it fell through and I'd been talking about, oh, I'm gonna move to New York in November and October, if something had gone wrong, I just would have looked stupid. So I worked super hard in Melbourne to save up to come here. I needed several $1,000s saved to, pay for my visa, pay for my flights, pay for insurance, pay for flights back from Australia, to pay for, a deposit on an apartment when I get here, and then first month's rent, and then just spending money and stuff. So I had to save hardcore, within quite a short amount of time. So it was about mid-July when I started to look into applying to the visa, and all of the sponsorship companies got back to me and they told me that the visa had run out, that they had no more visas left. Obviously there's a cap on these J1 visas between Ireland and America. It's only a pilot program and they didn't have any visas left, so I was utterly devastated. I was totally set on going to New York. I wanted to start my career here. I knew what I wanted to work in, and had been doing internships while traveling because I knew I wanted to go on this visa after I finished traveling, and I knew I wanted to get a good job. Now I'm not into signs and fate and if it was meant to be, but in this case I made an exception. I was like, look, if this visa was meant to be, you will find a way to get over to America. So I started to look into other visas and I found another J1 visa which lets you come over here and work if you already have a job set up before you come over. So this was kind of I told myself, well, this is a good thing. I didn't really want to arrive in New York without a job set up already. I didn't want to end up working a job that I didn't enjoy. So I said, right, if I'm meant to go to New York, then I will find a job that's right for me before I go over. And I will go over if I find something that sounds like it could be the right fit for me. Long story short, one company in particular, we developed a relationship straight away, and I spent literally a month doing interviews with them and doing kind of work assignments for them to see if I would be the right fit for the job. And obviously it's a big deal hiring someone who is in Australia while they're in America, because they can't see you. It was only interviews and Skype and stuff. But long story short, they offered me a job, this company did, and yeah, I went. Even then I didn't say anything because I was like, right, I still have to get the visa, like what if it's rejected? Like I was just so paranoid about it. So until I had that visa in my hand, I did not let myself get excited. Okay, no, I just get excited. But yeah, so I flew home to Ireland. I did my embassy interview to get my visa. I told my friends in New York that I was planning on going back to Asia afterwards, and they were like, whoa, that's so weird, you've changed your tune. Why are you at home? Like, you're just like, I thought you'd just go straight back to Asia. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just home to see my family. When really, I was home to do my visa interview, my visa embassy interview. So I flew over and I surprised them, and it was hilarious and fun, and I hadn't seen them in so long. And also, it's so amazing to be back in New York. I am living in Brooklyn, and I actually work in Williamsburg, and I have lived